What's up, everybody? Sorry about last week. I didn't get to do the video. Anniversary of my mom's birthday, and I was just, I needed some time to be with some family, so I didn't get a chance to do the video. But don't fret, because I will be recapping both weeks. And I'm going to jump right into it, because, man, let me tell you, this season, a lot of stuff has happened in the last 2 weeks. Let's start off. So 2 weeks ago, we had the matchup between Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, going up against M-Team 8000, Marco riding the 4-game winning streak. But Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, puts that to an end with a 133-107 victory. Next up, we had the matchup of Frank's Jets versus Bad Boys. And Bad Boys was riding a 4-game losing streak, and they get that snapped with the 138-95 victory over Frank's Jets. Next matchup, Riddle Me This and Steel Curtain 13, and watch how Marty on the rise with the 205-178 victory. And man, feel bad for Ariel, man. Highest scoring week this year, 178 points, and it comes in a loss. Next matchup, Legendary Giant, Enough Enough, and the defending champs with the 138-126 victory. Then we had Team Deal against Brooklyn Giants, and Team Deal, two teams coming in. Team Deal with a 2-game winning streak, Brooklyn Giants with a 3-game losing streak, and both trends continue as Team Deal won 158-135, giving them a 3-game winning streak, and Brooklyn Giants with their 4-game losing streak after starting out 3-0. Then we have Bushwick Hitman against Iron Picket Fence, and it was Bubba with the 120-108 victory. Jordan with a 3-game losing streak at the time. And then the final matchup, you had Gotham Knights against Flying Buffalo Wings. And it was Terry's Gotham Knights with the 179-160 victory that snapped Flying Buffalo Wings' 6-game winning streak. All right. Let's jump into it, man. We had some trades that went on from that week to last week. First off, on Halloween, we had the blockbuster trade, the somewhat controversial trade between Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, and Iron Picket Fence. We saw Joe Burrow, Javonte Williams, and a 5th-rounder go to Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP in exchange for Jordan Love, Dalton Kincaid, and a 3rd-rounder. Now, there was a few people that questioned this. There was even called a collusion. So like I explained then, I'm going to explain it now. It's how the league works and how the construct is set up. First off, he was getting a 3rd round. As you can see, Jordan is 1-8 this year. He was getting a 3rd-rounder, which is a top 42 pick, which is a premium pick. Usually they say the top 50 are the most premium picks in the draft in a 14-team league. He got a premium pick, as well as a keeper in the 11th round in Dalton Kincaid, who looks like he is going to be the #1 tight end on that Buffalo team and a potential top 5 tight end in football. In exchange, he gave up Burrow, Williams, and a 5th-rounder. So now, I know Frank's Jets offered a trade that he says was better. I think, like I said, that's up for debate. I think the biggest key in this piece was the 3rd-rounder that was being offered. Next trade we had just the next day, because this started the domino effect of trades. Flying Buffalo Wings, Enough is Enough, pulls off a trade. Daniel Jones for Christian Kirk. At the time, it made sense. Kirk Cousins out for the year. Alex needed a second #2 quarterback. Daniel Jones was coming back. The trade was made. And in hindsight, it looks like a very bad trade, because the next week, Daniel Jones gets injured and he's out for the year. Maybe Alex just has bad luck with quarterbacks on his team going out on that #2 quarterback slot. Enough is Enough gets up Christian Kirk, trades Daniel Jones at the right time. And then the final trade, there was a second trade that day between Iron Picket Fence and Legendary Giant. Jordan trades DeAndre Hopkins and his 16th round pick for Michael Thomas and the 12th round pick. All right. Now we jump into this past week. And we had the first matchup. And it was Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, going up against Bad Boys. Bad Boys just breaking his losing streak, trying to create a new winning streak. But unfortunately, Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, comes through with a 150-180 shellacking. Eli, two-time Super Bowl MVP, goes up to 6-3. Next up, we have Rid Me This against XII and Marty now with the 169-96 victory. Now riding a 3-game winning streak coming into this week. Goes up to 5-4. Marco drops down to 4-5. Next matchup, Legendary Giant, Frank's Jets, and this was a nail-biter. A nail-biter, and Frank could have pulled this off if not for a dropped pass by T. Higgins. It's Juan who pulls off the slimmest of margins, 108-106 victory. Defending champs rocking a 3-game winning streak now. Frank's Jets losing 2, dropping down to 5-4. Next up, we have Team Deal, Steel Curtain 13, and Danny with the 127-101 victory, putting him on a 4-game winning streak at a record of 7-2 and his sole possession of first place. Ariel drops down to 2-7. Next matchup, we have Enough is Enough against Iron Picket Fence, and it was Makazo Ojo with the 124-80 victory over Jordan. He goes to 3-6 back in the win column. Jordan has now lost 4 in a row and is 1-8. Then we have Brooklyn Giants against Flying Buffalo Wings, and it's Will with the 180-118 victory over Flying Buffalo Wings, who's now lost 2 in a row since Kirk Cousins has been injured. And it's funny, Will, sorry to respond back to you. It was a crazy week at work, but absolutely right. I reached out to him about a potential trade, and he was like, you know what? Let me see how this works out over the next week or two, and I'll get back to you, because he thought he could still be in contention. And you know what? He was right. He's 4-5. And the final matchup, it was Gotham Knights against Bushwick Hitmen, and it's Gotham Knights with the 135-88 victory, putting them up 2-game winning streak at 6-3. Bushwick Hitman, Bubba drops down to 4-5. So let's go to the standings. And like I said before, Danny, for the first time in the history of my league, sole possession of first place at 7-2, riding a 4-game winning streak. He moves up 1 slot to that top spot. In the number 2 slot, Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP, 6-3, riding a 2-game winning streak. I move up 2 slots right behind you, Danny. Let's go. In the 3rd spot, we have Gotham Knights, who also 6-3, also riding a 2-game winning streak, but I hold the tiebreaker. Moved up 3 slots from 6th to 3rd. In the number 4 spot, we have Flying Buffalo Wings, who has held the top spot for most of the season, but is dropped now after a 2-game losing streak. He drops down 3 slots at 6-3. In the number 5 spot, we have Legendary Giant, the defending champs, who he's on a roll with a 3-game winning streak. He stays in the number 5 slot at 6-3. In 6th, we have Frank's Jets, who's lost 2 in a row at 5-4 as he's dropped down 3 slots. And Rid Me This, climbing up the standings up to number 7 with a 3-game winning streak. He is also 5-4, moving up from outside the playoff picture into the number 7 spot. And then we have Bushwick Hitman Bubba, who even though he lost last week, still stays in playoff contention in the number 8 spot at 4-5. But right behind him, we have Bad Boys, Team 8000, and Bushwick Giants, who are all 4-5. And there's a big matchup this week between Brooklyn Giants and Bushwick Hitmen. So one of those 2 teams, the winner out of that, is probably going to jump into playoff contention as we get into week 10. Behind that, we have Enough is Enough in the 12th spot at 3-6. Steel Curtain at 2-7. And it's getting to the point now where, Ariel, you almost have to win out or close to it. You're 2 games out of that 8th spot. There's only about, 6-7 weeks left. So you've got to at least go 5-1. 6-0, 5-1, potentially 4-2 with some help, but man, you got to start turning your fortunes around. That being said, looking at it, 4 games this year that you've lost has been by 10 or less points. So they've been very close matchups, but you got to start getting some of those W's. And then in last place, and I mean, it looks like it's done, and based on the trades, he's looking towards next year. So listen, if there's anybody on this team, guys, that you may like, I'm not trying to advocate for it, but what it looks like is he's trading for draft picks. So you may get lucky with that. He's at 1-8 and a 4-game losing streak in last place. All right, so this week's matchup, we have Riddle Me This versus Eli, 2-time Super Bowl MVP. 2 teams riding on a multi-game win streak. And right now, it's Marty up early, 37-0 with 3 guys used. But I'm favored to win the matchup this week. Next up, we have Legendary Giant against Bad Boys. Juan coming in on a 3-game winning streak. He's down early, 9-0 with 1 guy used. But Legendary Giant is favored to win this week. Next up, we have the first place Team Deal going up against Team 8000. Team Deal riding a 4-game winning streak. Team 8000 riding a 2-game losing streak. Team Deal, Danny, your favorite to win this week. Next up, we have Iron Picket Fence against Frank's Jets. And Iron Picket Fence up 10-3 early. Both 1 guy used. But it is Jordan, the 1-8 Iron Picket Fence favorite to win this week. Why? Because Frank has a crap load of injuries and body that's killing him this week. I think he has 2 guys he can't play because he just doesn't have anybody because they're either hurt or on a bye. Next up, we have Steel Curtain 13 against Flying Buffalo Wings. 2 more teams with a multiple losing game streak. And it's Steel Curtain up. Oh, they're actually 0-0, but it's Steel Curtain who's favored to win this week. Wow, so we have some upset scheduled this week. Next up, we have Enough is Enough against Gotham Knights. Also 2 teams that doesn't have anybody favored. And is Enough is favored to win. So we have 3 teams with losing records. The bottom 3 teams all favored to win this week. And in the last matchup, we have Brooklyn Giants against Bushwick Hitmen. Huge game with huge playoff, not complications, that's not the word I'm looking for. Implications, there you go. Big playoff implications. Brooklyn Giants is also favored to win. So, insanity. The bottom 4 teams, 11 through 14, all favored to win this week. And listen, they've been on the money with their picks. And if this comes to fruition, it brings everything right back into the pack. And I think there's some teams hurting. I look at Frank's Jets. I look at Flying Buffalo Wings. 2 teams that have lost some key players, key quarterbacks. There could be some jumps here. So, man, I wish all of you guys a great week this week. Like I said, only 1 game separates the 6th seed to the 11th seed. And then with some teams hurting right now who are 6-3 or 5-4, there's a chance to jump back in, but now's the time to do it. Marty, I'm sorry, man. But you're going down this week. It's gonna be a close one, but you're going down this week. You know why? Because this is my year for number 3, and I'm not letting it get in the way. Danny, coming for you for that top spot. My Giants season's over. Islanders don't look good. Mets had a bad season. Sports is rough for me, man. Knicks, they're looking so-so. I don't know what to do, man. I need something, because if not, 2023 is going to be a very bad just sports year in general. That being said, man, you guys have a great week. Marty, you're going down this week. Sorry, man. Good luck, everybody. Talk to you guys soon.